have been accepting that my relationship with mental health is now honest and intentional.
My relationship with mental health is I'm still learning. It's a learning process for me, like every day.
In this season of my life, I feel I am more in sync with who I am, and that has a direct impact on my mental health.
I think that guilt is it's such an invisible thing, I would say, because a lot of times we can even mistake guilt for another emotion.
So whenever you feel like, oh, this I cannot handle, you should ask for professional help.
Aloha, dear friends.
I'm Vivian, a board-certified music therapist in Canada and US, faculty at Chulalongkorn University, and the current president of the World Federation of Music Therapy.
And I'm Jerome, a certified forest therapy guide, mindfulness yoga and sound healing practitioner, and mental health advocate. And together, we're the co-founders of Sacred Space Therapy and Wellness, and your hosts for our podcast, Echoes Among Trees, Reclaiming Our Inner Voice.
We hope you'll be able to take away something from our conversations about mental health and just about being human. Together, we hope to create a kinder world and to walk each other home. Thank you for listening.
Aloha and welcome everybody to our fourth episode of Echoes Among Trees. I am Jerome, your co-host,
I'm Vivian.
and we have a very special panel of guests today.
Mm-hmm.
We are celebrating Women's Health Month,
Mm-hmm.
and today we have three very esteemed women guests
Mm-hmm.
to help us talk about women's health and especially women's mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today we will explore the topic with three women entrepreneurs from different cultural backgrounds. So we'll hear some of their stories today. So maybe we can start by having our guests introduce themselves to our audience very briefly.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Asmita. I'm the founder of a media agency called Third Eye Media. I'm also a food and portrait photographer and been in Hong Kong for 15 odd years and originally born and brought up in India. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Anita. I'm from Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, originally from Nigeria. I am a culture and event manager and
Mm.
also the founder of African Kitchen Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Jerwin Ke, and I am the co founder of The Blumster. I run the business with my husband, and it's all about making fragrances and connecting it through moments of human connection for all of the scents into spaces for
Mm.
both private and commercial as well. And mainly, it is something that me and my husband has been entering our culture to it because my
Oh.
ethnicity is Filipino.
Yes.
I moved here in Hong Kong 15 years ago,
Yeah.
roughly around when she said 15 years, I feel like, oh, wow. Like that was like my life in Hong Kong. And here I am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jerwin. Now, since our topic today is mental health, I wanted to start off by asking our guest today, what is your current relationship with mental health? That's sounds like a loaded question, eh? But we can start anywhere. Yeah.
I have been accepting that my relationship with mental health is now honest
Mm.
and intentional.
Mm.
So being intentional to it means like you're pausing and say like, yes, I need to deal with this.
I think my relationship with mental health is I'm still learning.
Mm.
It's a learning process for me, like every day.
In this season of my life, I feel I am more in sync with who I am,
Mm.
and that has a direct impact on my mental health. Uh, I used to feel it's mental health is something that you have or you don't have. It's like a switch. That's what I used to believe. Today, I feel that I think if I had to give an example, it's almost like photography. Um, you need light and you need shadow to create a good picture. Uh, so for me, mental health is presence of both light and dark sides and be okay with both and be comfortable and aware and intentional, like they both said about it. Yeah.
What I'm hearing is authenticity,
Mm.
you know, for you. But before we can be authentic, there needs to be awareness
Yeah.
and self compassion and acceptance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Mm.
Thank you. Well, that brings me to the next question. Oh, I think in our daily lives, oftentimes we hear people ask us, "How are you doing?" Whether it's on our cell phones or in conversation, like in person conversation. And it is so typical to hear, "Oh, I'm fine." "Oh, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
fine." But we all know deep down that many times when we say this, it's not a true reflection of what is really going on inside of us. Um, does that resonate with anyone here?
Yeah. I feel like when you say I'm fine, most of the time it's just a cover up.
Yes.
Yeah, we just want to cut it short. Like,
Cut it
yeah.
short.
So I feel, yeah, this is what I feel sometimes. So, and it depends on the tone
Yeah.
and who is asking, right? Yeah. So who is asking? Are you even listening to me? So I just say I'm fine. A cover up. Let's just pass this. Let's be done with it. But sometimes it's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I know, like, Puna caught me one of those days and I was literally crying. Or, like, yeah, I'm like, I'm fine. Like, Anita, are you sure you're fine? How is it going? She came to the shop and at the old shop and, like, are you sure you're fine? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like, are you really fine? So I knew at that point that she got me. So I'm like, oh, fine. So, I started crying. But so it depends on who is talking, who is there. You can perceive it actually when someone like, oh, are you fine? So you can actually know if the person have the intention of listening. So that determines the I'm fine response. So sometimes it just cover up, sometimes, yeah, we mean it. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
I completely resonate with Anita. Like usually when you said you're fine, but there's like a tear, like millisecond that like, yeah, I'm fine. But I think saying the word I'm fine, it was so normalized because what we are trying to do is to shelter people from us opening that we are about to complain. We don't want to over sort of like complicate things. So when you said you're fine, it's like shutting down like any kind of like the next responses. Um, and then from our culture in the Philippines, when you said that you're not okay, usually people would be like, because you're not praying enough. And I mean, I am religious too. I pray, but like your relationship with God doesn't relate to whether you're fine or you're not fine, right? But it was normalized with that term. So I think like for nowadays, like people think when you said you're fine, it's like I'm still here, I'm standing, but I'm millimeter away from crying. But that's why it's important to have like a circle of friends that can actually be there for you and listen. And the best thing that you can do for your friends too is like if you can feel it, the energy, right? Like if people are not okay, sometimes for asking them like, "Are you okay?" is already like kind of like triggering. So maybe we can start something else. Like, do you want to talk about something? Um, or would you like me to start a good story from my this week? Like you divert. So at least like when the person is ready to open up, then they will say like, hey, by the way, like I feel a bit down this week. This happens, and I'm not fine, and that should be normal.
I absolutely agree. Especially I think you raised some very good points about, who is it that you're talking to, and also about, I think I find what you said was very interesting too. Sometimes, as a person being asked, I think some women can be very um, considerate of the other person and want to
Mhm.
protect the other person, that you don't want to throw all your dump all your garbage onto the other
Yeah.
person, and so you're like, oh, I don't want to burden you, so I'm just going to keep it to myself, right? I can imagine that has a hindrance towards our own mental health. Like when we're not able to share these stories or these heartaches, these pains, what we're going through with others, we stuff it within ourselves. It really has an impact on our mental health. And as you said, we need a community.
Oh yeah.
We need support, in order to attain a balance and be able to maintain our own mental health. And that takes me to the next question. Science and psychology has it that women tend to be better multitaskers. And that has to do with the differences on our brains. Now, with being better multitaskers, you can imagine. I know we have
Let
a
me just shrink down here.
with the many tasks that we're trying to balance, to us, it may seem like, oh, it's nothing. It's just what we got to do. But there's a lot of invisible loads that we're carrying. So invisible that sometimes when we do have time to stop and think, why am I so tired? Why do I feel like the whole world is on my shoulders? What's going on with me? I don't know if that resonates with any of you.
It does.
How do you feel that that has shown up for you in your life?
I would say invisible workload for women and on women is very real because of the world we live in. We have taken up this pressure on ourselves to keep doing more, keep hustling more, because why not? Especially like you said, in social media, everything seems possible and plausible. And we just keep adding stuff to our to do list without realizing that no matter who is doing it, it's still starting from our heads, from our minds. And hence, the when mental workload just goes on piling up more and more and more. And in my case, I feel when it starts to affect my sleep is when I know that it's time to reset, to go back and check what am I doing that I can delegate or can put lower down in my to do list or just strike off my to do list. So, yeah, sleep is where it shows up for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So in terms of like when you mention about like women doing more or multitask, I think it's in nature we are embedded not just to do more but to hold more, because we are expected to nurture. We are expected to be the emotional sponge for everything. And then people would call us emotional. So how ironic. How ironic,
Oh.
right? Like my husband would joke about it, but then like when I mentioned to him, it's like because men have a different way to deal with their emotional health, and women, they feel more. So the thing is that in womanhood, it's not about like a task management when you deal with these things. It's actually like an emotional project management. When you put it into a like a entrepreneurship perspective, you start checking which one should I prioritize first, right? Like, do I do the work now and cry later, or cry now and then do the work? Because you need the release, and
Yeah.
crying is a release.
Yeah.
Talking to someone is a release,
Mhm.
right? I had a session with Jerome and the rest of like the other participants. We had a forest bathing, and that was the very first time that there's a specific language to what I was then doing. So we live in new territories, and it's just like 5 minutes away to a Long Valley Nature Park.
Yeah.
This week I went there to just decompress.
Oh, wow.
Birds chirping 7 a.m. in the morning. You see
Wow.
like different flowers blooming. At the same time, like the rice fields are, like waving in the air. And then you'll be like, this is Hong Kong too. Like no matter how much stress you have in the city, there's a space in Hong Kong where you can actually like rest. And then like I try to embed like what I've learned from forest bathing, that sometimes you need to reconnect to nature to actually unload that stress. And then like that helps with the mental health.
Yeah.
Sometimes not speaking is actually good too.
Mm.
Just listening, feeling,
Mm.
smelling the grass. And what happens on that, it's a reset. Then you can carry on like your 9 a.m. work until like maybe for entrepreneurs, we don't really stop. Right? So it's gonna be like a 9 a.m. to 12 midnight. But at least we had like that little piece
Mm.
of a moment in our day where our mental health is now being prioritized, even just like 10 minutes.
And Asmita, yourself?
Yeah, I completely resonated with these ladies. I really feel that you need to identify that time that's just for yourself without any guilt,
Mm.
without any
Yes.
because again, women, as women, I think, and as mothers, I have two young children, we are wired to constantly have that mom's guilt.
Mm.
And you as people who run your own businesses, you are constantly doing stuff, and
Yes.
there is this nagging guilt at the back of your
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
mind. So when you do have time,
Yes.
you want to devote it to your family and your
Yes.
children.
Yes.
So that's been one lesson that I have had to learn the hard way, is to prioritize myself. It has to
Yeah.
be guilt free, because if there's guilt attached, no matter if you're taking a nap or doing whatever you need to do, if there is a nagging guilt, it's not going to be effective.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you for bringing this up. I think that guilt is such an invisible thing, I would say, because a lot of times we can even mistake guilt for another emotion. Sometimes we don't know we feel guilty. Sometimes it's like, oh, I feel bad, or sometimes, oh, but I'm just always there's this. I don't know why, but there's this always these two voices like within me that that are kind of fighting each other, or there's this just internal conflict. Not a I think that you guys are actually very good at identifying your emotions. A lot of adults actually cannot identify. Like, oh, I don't know how I'm feeling, or and being able to identify our how we're doing, our self-awareness is so important, because a lot of mental health issues come from uh, undealt with emotions. And in your case, if there's undealt with guilt, oftentimes that, especially if later on anything happens to your children, or as mothers, we're like, you can be like, oh my gosh, that guilt is forever, you know and and because of this prioritization, that you feel like, oh, I could. And this idea, I think a lot of women or people in general would always hold, I could have done better.
Mm.
I could have done better. There's always that, but in reality, no. You did the best that you could at the time that you knew, with what you knew, right, and what you could do. But there's this, but when you don't uh, process those feelings, and you kind of stuff them in, that's when a lot of other problems will emerge. So I'm really glad that you mentioned about, this feeling of guilt, because a lot of times with the different roles that we have, it doesn't have to be children. It could be like other aspects of your life, other responsibilities. Oh, I should have done more here, or I could have attended more here. You know, do you guys have that,
Yeah.
Anita?
Mm, I think I resonate with what you guys just said. For me, I'll add it's same thing, but I'm just going to add your mindset.
Mm.
You know, sometimes we feel guilty of things, but then how do you perceive it
Mm.
personally? My mindset. So is maybe I'm feeling guilty of like something happened recently. I'm like, oh my God. Really, really, I felt so guilty like of what happened. 80% was my fault. I would have done better,
Mm.
like make a better decision. Well, like, oh my, I keep beating myself, like, oh God, maybe this is the reason why this person gave me a bad review, or maybe this was the reason the lady did not like, I kept, but at the point, I'm like, it's happened already.
Mm.
So whatever you cannot change,
Mm.
like, I can't change the situation anymore.
Mm.
It's happening. She had already make a decision, right? So it's just for me to like, okay, what next?
Mm.
I'm sorry, and let's move on.
Mm.
So I don't need to dwell on
Yeah.
that thing,
Mm.
dwell on the self regret or, self guilt. I don't need to dwell on it. I'm like, oh, I've actually apologized and we've
Mhm.
moved on from here.
Mhm.
So I try to create a positive mindset.
Mhm.
It's a conscious thing for me, actually. Like, yeah. So I feel like my mindset have a lot to do with me.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's always how we deal with the situation and the story we tell ourselves. We
Yeah.
can come from a place of guilt and brooding and blame,
Yeah.
or we go into solutions. And that, again, but easier said than done.
Of course.
Uh, like I said, at this season of my life is when all of this wisdom seems to make sense in practicality of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's always work in progress.
Yeah.
It's not one straight line.
Yes. Yes.
Learning.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think
It's a
every
process.
step of what you guys have mentioned, whether it's being honest with yourself,
Mm,
it takes a lot of courage to be honest with yourself because you know that you will have to deal with the responsibilities
Yeah.
and the consequences and that you won't shrink away from it.
mm,
Honesty and then uh, acceptance. That again takes so much courage. Accepting the situation, accepting who we are, accepting what has already been done. And then the next thing, like you said, both said, mindset, positivity. That is definitely something that can be learned. But in terms of courage, I think that also takes a lot of support and community, people that are going to help you as well.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm laughing.
No, no, that's
But
okay.
I don't know for your background or like your culture. Culturally, where I'm coming from, you really don't need someone to teach you to be confident.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's like you're being taught to be confident or like you are expected to.
You're expected to. I
Yeah.
can relate. As a Filipino, for us, there's no such thing as like weak mind.
Mm,
You are expected to be, you just have to tough it up.
yeah.
Ah,
And it was so normalized that when you said, I think I need to speak to a therapist or I need to find a coach, then people would be like all eyes on you and saying like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you?
yeah.
Like, why would you need that? Like, is you're not, is like, are you
Mm.
not capable to do it on your own?
Mm.
But that was like the taboo from the past. And I hope like in this, like
Era.
era where acceptance is a key. Like you cannot do it all. You cannot be your
Mm.
personal coach.
Mm.
And the reason why there's an external person is because they can see your version that is already clouded,
Yeah.
right? And I think like in Africa and in the Philippines, and I'm sure like in your culture as well, we always have this expectation from people around us that you just have to know it. But then like how would you know it,
Yeah.
right?
So unfair.
It's all unfair. But what happens now is like, how do you navigate it? how do you start understanding?
Yeah.
If the world is so perfect, I don't think we do have therapies. There's no charities gonna
Yeah.
go on. But the world's not like that. The world needs people who have like big empathy, and then people who have like extra knowledge to actually tackle this on and normalize
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's so true. Even I grew up in India, and I think I can speak for most of South Asia or Asia actually, that speaking about depression or mental health or struggling with your mental health was not really a norm. If you're struggling with something, you talk to your parents, or you go cry it out, or you speak to your elders in the family, or just deal with it, just move on. uh, that was the norm. And especially for women, there's another layer, I feel, that their happiness is equated with their, I mean, it's relational. It's like if there's something wrong with your life, it must be that your marriage is not working fine, your children are not doing well, or there's something in your relations that's not working. It's not possible that everything else in your family is fine and you're still not fine. You know, so that's something which is the norm or expectation for South Asian women. That okay. And then the other thing is growing up in India, where there's a massive disparity. You are taught gratitude. You're always taught to look outside and those below you and be grateful for your own life. So you can't complain. Look at X, look at Y. They don't even have food. They don't. So you have a good life. What are you complaining about? And as a trailing spouse, I found it very hard to complain or to say something is not right because what? Your husband has a great job. Your kids go to international schools. You live in a very good, convenient address. What are you complaining about? It's almost like privilege is a vaccine against, you know, loneliness or loss of identity or, you know, just sadness, things that are real and people with no matter how much privilege they have can still deal with. I mean, they can still suffer that, right? So a lot of it is cultural, a lot of it is just because not enough people are talking about it.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so appreciative of you bringing this up. Life, nobody is immune to life, what life brings, no matter how privileged you are. And uh, and it really is down to how we manage and how we face and how we deal with life, because even the less privileged can have the resilience to deal with life, that where they can overcome and and learn from what life has thrown onto them. Thank you so much for bringing that. And that leads me to the next question of, uh, I'm so grateful that you brought about, in the Indian culture or the Asian culture, we have certain assigned beliefs. Yeah, like the culture has assigned certain beliefs to its people or the society, or it could be gender related, it could be role related, it could be age related, it could be in many, many different ways. And when you kind of look into it into your own life, do you notice, are there any sort of limiting beliefs that you feel you're aware that you've lived with for a long time?
One of my limiting beliefs before is if I'm not struggling, that means I'm not doing it right.
Whoa.
Right?
No, I completely resonate.
Whoa.
It was heavy for the longest time. It was so heavy. And I think because I grew up with a family, or like the dynamics is like I'm the eldest daughter. So the
Okay.
all of the expectations are on the
Yeah.
on your
On your
shoulders.
shoulders,
And
yes.
sometimes, like when we were talking about earlier, like the invisible load,
Yes.
it's in there.
Yes, it's in there.
It's
Yes.
in there. Like parents that are aging, you then require to take care of them in a way, because it's normal in the Philippines at
Yeah.
least.
Yes.
And I see it in Asian culture too. Sometimes you get to a certain point in your adulthood that you became the parent for your
Oh
parents.
yeah.
Yes.
And you think that when you were young, you're just scared of like the belts, or like the, like the cleaning sticks, if they're gonna punish you. But of course, you don't do that to your parents, right? How ironic. Like, oh, you don't listen to
Let me
me,
get
you
the
don't drink your
slipper.
medicine. Yeah. Like, you don't listen to me, you don't drink your medicine on time, like you belt them. No, it doesn't happen that way. Um, but in our culture, in Asian culture, what happens is like when you have exhaustion, it becomes like it's a it's a it becomes like a badge of honor, a badge of worth. Like when you're struggling so much, that means, oh, you're doing so well.
Oh my gosh.
And then it becomes like so heavy, like when does this end? And that's when my coach explained it to me. It's overgiving. Like this is a processing that happens because you are trying to deal with your childhood trauma, and because of that, you became an overgiver. And one thing that I now carry to myself is, I always say it too, is you're not supposed to fix what's not yours to heal. And it's I almost like I want to put it in a tattoo or something, just to keep reminding me, because sometimes, like when you get into a situation again, you sort of like forget, okay, this is like my mantra, but suddenly you have something else to deal with.
Yeah, we give ourselves so much pressure. And I think one thing we should know is, I always say, when to take a breath. There is a saying in my place, Aje can't. Like, yeah, Aje can't. Like you run and run and then you rest. This is what it means. Yeah. It's like keep doing, but know when to take a rest. Just know when that's that thing that, oh, I want I want to have this. I want to, my brother is, oh, he's already doing his PhD. Oh, I need to start. And you have that pressure on you. Then you have a kid. Then you are a mother, or you have a business. Then you're doing all this multitasking, doing all these real things together.
Yeah.
When there are some persons, they cannot just do two at a time, and you're doing five things at a time. I think it's overwhelming. Like,
It is.
even if it's expected culturally, but we should know that it's really not right. It has a lot of negative impact on our mental state.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one thing though I was able to achieve all the things, but I feel like if I should talk to my younger self, I would tell her to chill, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like asking for help is a sign of weakness. Strong women don't ask for help, they can do it all. And one thing for me, which was not really cultural, but maybe in a way, because where I come from, your profession is your degree. You study medicine, you become a doctor.
Yeah.
You study law, you're a lawyer. I am a self taught photographer. I studied pharmacy and I studied HR, and I'm not doing anything
Yeah.
related to that anymore. So for the longest time, I am a self taught photographer. I'm teaching myself photography. Um, you know, I was always this work in progress photographer, and I never gave myself that grace that I am a professional photographer. That was that imposter syndrome
Yes. Yes.
was such a massive one in my life for the longest time. And I still have days when I have to struggle. I do struggle with that. I know how to manage it better now, but that's been a real one all my life, all my professional life as a photographer, because I didn't go to school to learn photography. So, yeah,
Thank you.
that.
I have so much respect for you three ladies right now. Like after all these stories that you shared with me, I see so much resilience and so much life experience that is just kind of um, shining out, you know, from what you've shared with our audience. And I feel like our audience is very lucky to have to be able to listen to you, all three of you share.
There's been, you all have touched a little bit about your different cultures. And what's nice about our current panel today is we got women from representing different cultures. And we want to understand a little bit more about how culture has affected you or just anybody in general within your culture in terms of your mental health. Um, there's this, you talked about the expectation to be strong, or like if you're weak, then that means you're not praying enough. So I know this one because I'm Filipino too, but I think our audience would like to learn a little bit more about the stigma that's around your culture regarding mental health, and in your own personal view, how can you overcome that, or how can we overcome that as a person with like representing your culture? I know it's kind of big, but
I think, again, very similar. I guess we all have had similar experiences. My culture has made me who I am today. So there's some
Yes.
amazing things that I take away from it. And there's so many stories that I can go on and on about, which are great. But growing up in India, I think I saw a template of an ideal woman, what an ideal woman should look like, what a woman's life should look like, or what a woman's happiness should look like. An ideal woman was accommodating. She was always putting others' needs above herself. Before she's married, she's putting her parents and family's needs above herself. Then she's a mother. Then she's a wife. She's a mother. She's always prioritizing her family. A happy woman, a successful woman, is not somebody who's making waves or, like Anita said, she's disturbing the status quo. That's not a template that I saw. I saw somebody who always accommodated and put others first. And that's not fair on any living being. Forget humans, right? Thinking human, thinking organisms. Uh, so yeah, I think that puts a big adhering to that template and trying to be that person. And as a trailing spouse, when you give up everything that you stood for, your friends, your family, your career, to follow somebody else's dream, yeah, you're married to this person, you love this person, but it's not solely your dream to leave everything behind and come to an alien country where you don't speak the language, you don't know anybody. So, but then you go accommodate. You don't you don't be selfish. You know, that's a huge one
Oh, yes.
from our culture.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a huge one.
How we can fix it? I mean, I have a massive phobia of public speaking, but the fact that I'm here sharing my story
Yes.
is is just testament that how passionately I feel about people like us talking vulnerably,
Yes.
without the shame, without
Yes.
the guards,
Yes.
sharing our stories
Yes.
and normalizing the struggles. You
Yeah.
know, I meet women who look so put together, but they are breaking from within
Yes.
because they have to adhere to this template of this perfect wife.
Yes.
And this, I mean, they'll be dressed from tip to toe in a certain way, and they would look so confident, but
Yeah.
they're crumbling from within
Yes.
for the lack of support, or for the lack of community, or for the lack of resonance, for somebody to take their mask off and say, I hear you, I've been there, I'm going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So my culture, I'm very, how to say, grounded with
Grounded.
culture. Yeah, with my background. I love my culture. I carry it on my head. Maybe that's why I'm running an Africa kitchen in Hong Kong. Yeah, so people can understand me a little more, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so the culture actually have a great impact on me and the ladies around me. So, but generally, I would say 80% African culture does not really support women's mental health. I think work is still a work in progress, and we're still trying to, contribute to the situation. Should I say situation? Yeah, something like that. So I know, like, few years ago, I did a research on it, the women's mental health, and also have some academic friends who are also doing research on this. And there's something like the postnatal depression is also high. Yeah, because you cannot say because you gave birth and you're having what breakdown. I think I don't want to say it's a taboo, but people feel like, why will you say that?
Mm.
They will just tell you, those give birth.
Mm.
People can be so hurtful and they will say words like that. Oh, why is she having postnatal depression? What's that? Fowl can lay eggs, you know. So they will use this kind of words for you. And in most cases, it's a fellow woman doing that to you.
I was just going to say, like
Mm.
women around you would say, we gave birth.
Mm.
We never suffered with postnatal depression. We didn't have this word in our time.
Yeah. So it's most cases is women saying this. So it's really it this whole thing has a long way to go. If you
Yeah.
ask me,
Mm.
yeah, really, like sincerely, it has a long way to go.
Yeah.
I have experienced it.
Yeah.
A lady came to my shop and said my food is expensive. Not just any lady, an African lady, an African sister, and said my food is expensive. She wanted a fish in place of chicken, and I don't have any options like that. So that means I need to make a special option for her, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, for that it will be added $20. I could do it same price. It's my business. My staff was talking to her. So I was coming in to say, okay, sis, don't worry. But before I could say it, she just walked down to two other customers sitting and be like, this is too pricey. She was telling the other customers, this is too pricey. And she walked away. That broke me.
Yeah.
It's a real life situation.
Yeah.
I cried at the former place. I was crying. It took me 1 week to get over it. Yeah. I keep crying like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I've spent a lot. I know people do it, but it's for me, I think I've spent a lot. It's a lot of money to get a space, to get a license, to fix things. Then my own sister, she's not from Nigeria, but
Yeah.
I see you on the way, I'll call you my sister because you're a lady. And then you look so much like me, you become my more sister. And you come here and break me in front of my customers. So this is where we should start from. You understand?
Yeah.
So the mental health thing, that the woman's mental health is, are you a good friend? Because if I want it to be good, I should know what will break me and not to do it to you. So that is my own point.
Absolutely. I think that the dream of a kinder and more compassionate world starts with one individual.
Yeah.
And when one person starts to take care of themselves, of their own mental health, your neighbors will. And
They
you
will
will
feel.
then just support each other along the
Mm.
way rather than attacking or
Yeah.
hurting each other.
Mm.
And I think that this is the importance of community. where we support each other along the journey to better health, better mental health. Yeah. So, like I was saying earlier, I do want to reiterate. I feel very lucky to be in the presence of you three ladies. Not only do I see resilience shining through you, but also kindness. You know, I think for someone who is not born and raised here, um, and have only been here for the past decade or more, is helping me to appreciate Hong Kong. I've always, personally, I don't see as much good as you see in Hong Kong, quite honestly. And I am born in Hong Kong. Um, and you help me to see the kinder side of Hong Kong and the possibilities and the potential. So, uh, thank you for sharing your kindness and your perspectives and your compassion, not only with our audience, with us, but hopefully with the wider world. So, at this point, where we're going to wrap up our talk today, um, I think we talked a little bit, actually talked a lot about uh, awareness, self awareness. We talked a lot about being honest with ourselves. We talked a lot about acceptance. I think sometimes there is this mindset that people have is that if I want to be better, I have better mental health, or if I want to heal, I just got to work harder. I just got to um, not give up. I just got to do more. I just got to push my way through. You know, if I'm not getting better, I'm not doing enough, you know. And to a certain extent, that is true. But I think that the road in the path to journey to healing is not just how much effort we put in. It's also the community that we allow into ourselves to support us. But there are times when, even in the combination of the two, we may find ourselves that we need even extra help, sometimes professional help. And I want to hear from your perspectives because we've already heard a lot about your personal experiences in mental health. When do you think when do you suppose a point would be when you realize maybe extra help is needed?
Um, we have this myth of strong women don't break. And I'm like, my God, we're not a robots,
Yeah.
like even robots break down too. But um, as a woman, women go through um, break down, they break open, and they break through,
Mm.
right? And breaking is part of being able to be strong, like the resilience. And just like diamonds, like before the diamond shape as a diamond and how clarity and everything is, it goes through like this difficult process before it breaks through and becomes like somebody else's engagement ring, for example. But the essence is like we are purposely undergoing to this hard times, hardships, because there's a end result that is a good thing. We may not know it, but there is. And to be able to actually know if this is the right moment to actually seek help is when you start asking yourself, do I need a therapist? Because that itself is a trigger. Like, why don't, like, why are you asking yourself this?
Mm.
It's because, like, you already know the answer. Like, you need to talk to someone.
Mm.
And when you start, like, feeling that, then that means you need to act on it, right? Either you start searching for a consultant or maybe a coach, or maybe speak to your inner circle. And one thing that triggers the most as well, I think for me to handle stress. So back then, I didn't know I was diabetic. And I thought all of the signs that I have been experiencing is because I'm just staring to my computer for too long. And I was neglecting my own health. So that happened. So when I started having like really awful migraines, I feel thirsty, but then I keep drinking water. It's apparently like the body's already signaling that you're not okay. Sometimes like these happens because like you're not listening here. It's not even in here, it's like here. Like, am I okay? You know, like, am my body's okay? So yes, first you need to feel your body. If it's signaling you something, that means there's already something wrong. If you are experiencing like mental overload, that means it's already like the migraines, the sleep is not as good. You already have this tension every single time. And that is something that you need to work on as well. And being honest to yourself means like you can accept, like, okay, I need help.
Yeah. So, just to add to yours, anyways, like you said everything, but sometimes we're created differently. Like we can handle situation differently. Some people can handle like the stress level or the mental stress. Like okay, they can manage stage one, stage two. Why some cannot really manage anything. So whenever you feel like, oh, this I cannot handle, you should ask for professional help.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, through my lived experience, I feel things that used to give you joy stop giving you joy. You loved taking photos, you loved capturing lights and shadows, but you don't even feel like reaching out for your camera. You went for hikes and that lifted your soul, and now you go out and you feel numb, right? I think that's one of the signs. And like they both said, um, the minute you are asking yourself that question, that do I need to seek help, that already is a sign that you probably need to. What kind of help at what stage is something only you can decide, but it's already time to seek help. And you very well said that we are wired to think that push through, push harder, and then you'll get out on the other side and you'll get what you want, and you'll be a winner, you'll be an achiever, you'll be successful. But actually, the real breakthrough happens when you pause, and then the muck settles and things become clearer. It seems like being in a weak space at that moment, but it actually needs a lot of strength to be able to accept it. Okay, this is the time to pause.
Mm, yeah,
So,
very
yeah.
well said. Thank you so much. Now we just have one final section. It's called
The mental notes. So we didn't send these questions to you guys, but it's
I'm,
Surprise!
I'm wondering. I'm like,
yeah. So these are off the cuff.
okay.
So just answer what comes to the top of your head. You don't really have to elaborate.
Did we get a break
Yeah.
before that?
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, it's
rapid
yeah,
fire?
no, it's not like
Right.
supposed to be deep, but it's yeah, just like something that just comes to the top of your head,
Okay.
right? And there's only like a few questions, all right? And the first question is, what is a resource? Could be like a blog, it could be like a book, an author, um, that has helped change your life, hobby.
Significantly.
Journaling for me and meditation. I don't even have to think very hard. And I started doing it before it became the cool thing to do. I love to write. So intuitively, I was doing it. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine is writing also. Like I have a big diary in my bag. Yeah. I love to write. I studied communication, journalism. Yeah, my first degree that's journalism. So I love to write. I write everything. Yeah, anything and everything. I write it down. That really is me. Then another thing is I try to talk to someone. I really don't trust people a lot. That's based because of experience anyways. But I think if I find someone I trust, I try to share maybe before I sleep. especially when the thing is bothering me a lot. So I could just send a message. I remember with Puna, 2 a.m. we used to talk. My mentor, you can understand, like 2 a.m. I was like, "Are you okay to talk?" Like, "Oh, go on, Anita. I'm just doing something," So I'll just say it out, and I think sometimes when you say it out, you don't need to carry the burden, or when you write it down, just write it and it will go. Like I'm writing it, I feel like okay, talking to someone by writing it down. So I think that helps a lot. And I love music also. Cool music. Just thank you.
When I started the Blumster, it became a blessing in disguise that it was one of my therapeutic sessions when we make products because we mix different scents. It actually triggers a lot. Triggers either something more decompressing, more unwinding, or sometimes if it's like a happy scent, we call it citrusy, something more lively. Uh, but apart from like making candles and making that therapeutic, like what works for me was journaling and breath work. I have not done breath work before. So when I've met my coach, she told me some of the things I know you're busy in your 24 hours, but even in during commute or in between walking, breath work means you just have to be mindful with your breathing. And sometimes it's sending like your neuro that okay, you are slowing down even though you're slightly walking, but then that deep realization of like I didn't know how much impact it actually does when you inhale and then you just exhale a little bit, the tension goes away.
Um, one question that we like to ask, I'm going to change it up a little bit for you all, is if you could describe mental health in 3 words. However, there's 3 of you, so I'm going to divide it. You each have 1 word. If you could describe it using 1 word, what would it be for you?
I would say boundaries.
Mm.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, I'll say self-awareness.
All right.
Thank you, Anita.
Mental health means pausing.
Pausing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Um, what is a personal takeaway that you've come away with in our time together?
It's actually quite surprisingly that no matter which culture you're from, everyone in your culture expects you to be strong.
Mm.
And what I hear today is, like from India or for Africa or for Philippines, like no matter how much the world is putting so much expectation on you, it's really like up to your own self awareness and honesty that you can break through
Mm.
from these heavy expectations.
Mm.
And it's a good reminder today. And thank you for, like amazing sharing. Like
Yeah.
I love that every one of you has this like little piece of advice that you can take home today and then start practicing from it.
Talk about community of support.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And the resonance that I felt really that wherever we are, I guess what one thing that ties us all together is, of course, we are women and we are entrepreneurs, and we are in a country where we were not born. Um, and yet we chose resilience and stepping out of our comfort zone to
Yeah.
get to a dream.
Yes.
Um, we have had different paths, different experiences, but all 3 of us here and you guys, we're also okay with being vulnerable. And it's so important that I think we're stepping into a world where vulnerability is not a weakness.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
is. And today, my time with you guys was just like a reaffirmation of that fact that, yes, there is strength in vulnerability. So,
Mm.
thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Our hosts, Jerome and Vivian. Thank you so much. And also these beautiful ladies.
Yay.
Yeah. Um, thank you. I'm grateful I'm here. I'm happy I was able to make it. Yeah, it's refreshing. Like during the discussion, I find myself being in like resonating most of the times with whatever you're saying. So it means it's not just me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not alone. I feel the, should I say, sisterhood,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the way you guys put it, the way you handle the situations and how to go about it. Yeah, and the resilient also. And I know you've been in business way in Hong Kong before me, and you guys, I'm just 8 years in Hong Kong. So yeah, and I think I got a lot from your experience. Yeah. I profit more anyways in this. Yeah, I got a lot from your experience and your sharing, and I'm really glad that I'm here. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
All right, last question. What would you have to say to perhaps a woman that's listening who is struggling right now?
I have a lot to say to that woman because I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the beautiful woman. One thing is, one, you believe in yourself, your mindset. I am A1 for mindset. Like for me, everything that happens to you, all your decision, whatever you decide, start with your mindset. And two, let me say, you don't need to succumb to people perception about you. I don't need to be who you think I should be to you. So, and it also has to do with your mindset, right? So yeah, let your mindset work on it. Let it be positive. Be always positive, and don't reduce yourself to living other
Mhm.
people's life. That is what I have to say. Thank you.
To the beautiful woman who's listening right now, um, for a person who always get it right, you worry too much. Things would be eventually work out its way. So you have to trust the process. You have to trust the process and believe in yourself. Like no one's gonna cheer for you more than what you can do for yourself.
Thank you.
I'll speak to women or to the woman like me um, who left her family, friends, and comfort zone behind many years ago and came to a new country. Um, we talk a lot about different mental health challenges. We talk about postnatal depression, and that's a great thing. But there's not a lot of talk around loss of identity in isolation and loss of identity while supporting other people's needs and careers and, you know, putting yourself second.
Yes.
Because it's not dramatic enough, so there is no crisis around it. It's something which is just simmering and it's just there slowly eating away at somebody's joy and
Yes.
um, and self-worth.
Yes.
And that's where depression, that's where anxiety
Yes.
take root.
Yes.
Um, so I've been there. Um, and to the woman who's been there, I would say, uh, be that friend who you need and stop the performance and be vulnerable and just reach out, not only on WhatsApp message saying, I'm here if you need me something. Just go ring the bell with a pot of coffee, you know? nobody's going to hate you for it.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially not with
Just show up. Just show up in person.
yeah,
Be that person who you needed once or who you think you need sometimes.
yeah.
There's a lot to gain from that. There's a lot to gain in giving.
Mm,
Yeah, there's no shame.
mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for mentioning about that. And only if we had another hour, I would talk to you about loss of identity and you know the other losses that come with that, and the emotional sort of emptiness that you kind of enter into when you're in that situation. Unfortunately, we have to leave that for another conversation. But thank you so much to the three of you.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
This was a therapy session.
Yes.
Actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Lots
you
of
so
fun,
much.
guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank
yes.
you.
I know
Thank
it's long, but I think that it our intention was not to have just an informative dialogue, question and answer, but really an in-depth sharing of experiences and stories. And like you said, each person has a story. And I think that all of your stories, all of your voices, I want them to be heard. And I want our audience to be able to hear it. So thank you for spending the time and your willingness to be vulnerable, to share. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Jerome and
Thank you.
Vivian.
All right. That's going to do it for today's podcast. Celebrating women
Yay!
and women's health, especially mental health. Next month, we'll have another special guest, but until then, sharing light and aloha.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to our May podcast. And as usual, our June podcast is coming up next month. In addition, in August, we'll be introducing a series of group sessions where we incorporate music therapy and forest therapy for personal development, self-healing, and community building. So please stay tuned through our website at this QR code. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all the good stuff. See you there. Bye.